Hey YouTube, Roscoe531 here, and I'm back with a video about my truck, this time about the lights, because I posted some pictures on Tacoma World, and people very much were interested, or at least one guy was interested in my bed lights, so I figured why not go through every bit of like how I've done the lights, the wiring, and all of that. So starting with the front of the truck, I have got the standard headlights and fog lights, and then I've got a 30-inch LED bar from Tractor Supply, pre-LEDs on all the lights on my truck, except for the bed lights, which you'll see why after. But, so I've got the 30-inch bar there. A few of the LEDs have gone out, but they're behind the license plate, so it doesn't matter. I've then got the little pod heads on each side, all wired, so all four that are wired in on the sides like that are wired together to one switch. I can bring you over here and show you these. I need to adjust the angles and make it look a little better, but it's not a big deal, they work really well. I then have two rear facing lights to extend vision when reversing at night, which works fairly well. Well, it extends past where the lights for the camera or the reverse camera see you just enough so that you can get to a better view of everything. Now, the interesting lights that I have on here are the bed lights, which are these LED strips I got off of Amazon for about 30 bucks. And I did have to create a wiring harness for them. I created a wiring harness for all the lights. It's except for the front bar, which I bought one when I first installed that a month after I got the truck, because all of this came a number of months later. But I actually took Plasti-Dip and sprayed it over the box after taping it to the inside of the bed over here, along with the switch, which has worked very well, although the box is fairly weatherproof when you get it. What's also nice is if you get normal white ones, they're cheaper, but I decided since it was a few bucks more and I didn't care, I would go for ones that changed color, so it would be a little bit more fun when I go to the drive-in, as you can make them change colors automatically, and to like music and all that, and just have a little bit more fun with the truck. Which some people say is stupid. I think it's a little bit fun, and if you're babysitting kids or have kids, they love this type of stuff. So it really gets them interested in vehicles when they do light up and do all sorts of funky colors and stuff, making it a lot more fun and easy at points. Turn off the bed lights. Take the remote and just toss it back in the glove box for now. As for wiring all of these lights, what I did is I got some nylon mesh that I put all the wires in to black them out, or hide them a little bit better within the rack, and run them through the back here. It's hard to see, but you can kind of see right now that they're all running through the back there. And then they run from the back of the rack into these plugs so that I can remove the rack nice and easy and not have to worry about wires, so the rack can get stored inside during the winter, because snow is a pain. And then inside here, which is hard to see again, I have run all the wires down between the cab and the bed and gotten to the point of being underneath. There's a little bit better view. Ooh, all the access got zip tied up here, and run them underneath and kind of through some holes in the frame that are already there, or up into the area for the engine bay, where they all come into a wiring harness and fuse box that I added in which took a little bit of time to figure out properly how to wire it, as it came with no instructions, and I was doing it all for the first time on my own. But it only took me a weekend to really figure that out, of off and on work. I then have one cable from this whole thing leading to the battery, along with some other cables for the bed lights and the bar up front, as that has its own separate wiring harness and relay right here. All of the lights are on relays and fuses. The LED bar is right here and here, where the ones on the rack are linked through here. Each has a 20 amp fuse, and every 2 lights gets its own relay and fuse, where the bed lights, which are the LED strips, have their own fuse relay set up in the back, which I had to just wire to the battery via some long red wire here to show that it's positive. Other than that, all of them have switches that lead through a rubber gasket into the actual cab, which I've hidden well below here using more of the wire cover here and stuff, and poking it through a little hole I had made earlier, for the light bar originally, which then go all the way through, kind of snaking along here, right to here, where they then go into this, and right here where we have built a fuse panel or a switch panel into this little divot in the truck. I don't know what to call this. It's a little storage thing. If you have a second gen, you know what I mean. It's a weird little storage compartment. I've so far only got bumper, zombie lights, which are all the 4 side rears, and rear lights hooked up. I have 2 extra switches, squatch lights and spotlights, for if I want to put spotlights on or ditch lights on. I'm probably going to put them as spotlights. Squatch lights, I'm not sure yet. It might come when I get a roof rack. And then I've got one more spare spot, to which will probably become more USB ports and an amp meter. Those are all got, so there's holes drilled through the back of here. This actually is made with some roofing metal and a little rubber garter or plastic garter, which I believe goes on like the edge of your garden. In this case, there's tons of these little plastic things. It's either from a door or from a garter or a garden like trim. I'm not entirely sure, but it works really well, and it looks pretty damn good in the truck, I'd say. Can take the cell phone charger out so you can really get a good look of it. And that's it. Nice and simple and clean on the inside, good for all the purposes of having a wiring harness that you custom built. I have 2 more of the LED pods, which have been sitting in the door compartment waiting to be put on. I'm not sure where I'm going to put them on yet. I might have them mounted here if I don't put ditch mounts on, and as these will shine and cover where the LED bar does not yet. But other than that, thanks for watching. Like, comment, subscribe, and see you later.